accept the letter.
You gotta get that one. You gotta get it done through, I think notary. Because Doug and Karen went through the same thing. Her mother left somebody because she didn't trust Karen. And the lady said, I want nothing to do with her. And then she goes over to get it, and they wouldn't accept it. She had to get a lawyer with the letter. So that's what's happening.
Like I had a letter from
That's what it is.
he sent a letter to the lawyer. The lawyer just emailed me. I went to the bank. Did your bank accept it? He said, That's not why
There's no logic in government. I work, you work for government.
they gave me access to his bank account. They wouldn't give me access to his bank account.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably all we work for the year.
But it can be anywhere we need it. Because now the guy originally the lawyer said you can just transfer it because no, because it's actually the car's not mine. I'm not legal, so I can which they're not going to do until
I love that. Yeah, I sent them because Joanne sent them to me, and then I sent them to Joyce, and Dawn was like, those are, I've never seen those.
It's not, it doesn't really have a value. It would be junk.
Well, the girl says you couldn't have to put in. She recommended the minimum you put on it is $200. Then it's $12 an hour.
That's what do you want to get going? Are you got other people speaking?
I might say something.
You tell me when you want me. If you want me
I'll
to
talk
start.
to these gals and see. Because they sort of said they get started around 11:30. Distracting them, so I'll see.
Every time I come here, friggin' rains. I haven't been.
So like this one is
In a way, I just wanted these ones with the car. Same way Doug. You'll get it, okay?
You were High Rocks? No. David. Oh, David. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you're you live in those townhouses here, or?
Yes.
Oh, Lady Gaga. No, I was thinking more this thing. Singing. I'm not up on it. No, not good. Yeah. I don't know. No, it's changed.
Want to make sure nobody's late.
Well, I can take it off. There, yeah. My finger was way that way. And I pushed it down. And fell down. And I lifted it and didn't take it. Because I brought it to the she said, I got good blood flow to the tendons. She said I could take the bandage off, but it wasn't on the brain. Just not ready to. It's kind of a, it's just a security. Yeah. With your foot, yeah. Well, like how we think about Jim with his shoulder.
Oh, when you're right. Yeah.
I'm not guessing.
They want to try just happens. You're just like, can't keep your tire in the rain after like just
Hello, good morning, everybody. I'm John, and thank you for coming to celebrate Al. Anyways, by the way, I'm his stepson, and Don Van Oss is going to, Brian Van Oss is going to be speaking. He's not even here. So Brian's going to speak a little bit, about Al and everything like that. So here's Brian.
Hey, well, I'm Brian Van Oss, Al's sister's second son. So, what's that? And a lot of you were here for his birthday when we had a pretty good time. So, it's not a good time to come now, but I'm speaking on behalf of the Van Oss family. My mom was Al's older sister. And I think reading this, you know that Al's father died when he was really young. So my mom basically was Al's. She said I had to raise the little hooligan. She said I had to drive him to school. I had to pick him up. I had to cook for him. Anyway, so, but over the years, our family, Al was pretty good. He lived part-time with us. He lived part-time with his sister, Pat. He bounced around as a millwright, I guess he was. You'd define him as. But I know my dad worked at Fraser Mills, and Al used to do some work there. He was quite an expert at gang saws. And I think you saw he worked for Ackhurst Machinery for years. I know the boys at Fraser Mills, I work weekends there, you know, helping millwrights and stuff like that. And the boys at Fraser Mills, they said, boy, can that guy ever work, but boy, is he unsafe. and if you know Al, I mean, he always had a bash finger because he wanted to get the job done. He didn't want all that safety stuff, but the boys down at Fraser Mills made sure that he did. Anyway, Al was very talented, as you know. I mean, he started his own company, which Joanne, his stepdaughter, and Bill, they continue. I think, Bill, are you still running that company, Bill? Yeah. Yeah, well, we got to get down on those union boys. Are they here? We're going to have to settle them down. Anyway, Al's not there to settle them down anymore. But Al was a very dedicated guy to his family. He met Carol. They got married, and Al and Carol spent a lot of time at my parents' playing cards. Al saw himself as a card shark, but he ran into my dad and found out he wasn't, because my dad was the shark. Anyway, but through the years, Al, he had John, Joanne, and then Ed. Where are you, Ed? There he is. Ed's way down there. Anyway, Ed was one of Carol's best friend's son, and raised him. And I believe that Alan adopted Ed into the family. So, and I don't know. I kind of lost track of that side of the business. They numerous grandkids and great grandkids. So very successful. And I know Al was proud of them all. Whenever I would always phone him up, hey Al, let's go for something to eat. Yeah, I got to go into the shop first. I said, you're retired. They can't do without me. I got to do the bidding and I got to do the estimating. I said, well, that's not retirement. Yeah, well, I think he just liked to go down and have coffee and wanted to be wanted, right? But and then one of the people in the shop, after Carol passed away, it left a bit of a void for Al, and they introduced him to Belinda. And anyway, over the years, took a number of years to get Belinda into Canada, but I guess the age difference was sort of a flag. But guess what? Al, he persisted, and Belinda came in, and her 3 kids, 2 of them are here. There's Janice and Christian. Anyway, I believe they had 9 years of marriage together. And again, Al, when my parents later, my mom passed away, 2 years ago. And Al and Belinda visited her in the hospital, in her home, all the time. So he continued being close to his, I believe he was predeceased by his brother Scott and Bill. And he's still got a sister living in Prince George, Pat. And they weren't really tight, but but you know, Al phoned Pat all the time to check in on her. And Pat's daughter's here, came over from Victoria, Allison. So, but the only thing I want to say about Al is we'd go out for something to eat. It had to be breakfast because he had to get to the damn shop. And I said, Al, they don't need you. Oh, like hell they don't. They need me to do the estimates. They need me to, I said, I think if you walked away, you'd find out they probably didn't need you. But he had a way with people. He had a way with the mining people, right? And I think that's where he made a lot of his money. And then we met the people at Birch Bay. And a lot of my siblings would go down to that little cabin at Birch Bay and remember the crab. Al was so proud that he could get crab. When I went, he couldn't get any crab. You know, that's typical. I said, I thought you said there was crab. Oh, yeah, well, you're too late. Anyway. And then he said, I'll bring you some. And the only time he brought me something, he did bring me some halibut from his fishing buddies, because he had a lot of fishing buddies. I guess he worked on fishing boats, too. So he was talented, but he was a great uncle, and I know he'll be missed. I visited him in the hospital. It was kind of sad. But, you know, that guy, he fought right to the end. He did not want to leave. He says, I got too much here to live for. So, in a way, I rest in peace, Unc. He was a good man to his family, good man to his relatives, and a good man to his friends. So thank you. Here's to Al. Who's next?
Hi, most of you know me as Marv, but when I started at Hamilton Machining, how long ago was that, Joanne? 35 years ago? Going about that? Yeah, so when I started Hamilton Machining, I was 20 years old. And my name was not Marv in the beginning, I was called Wagon Burner. Because I had hair down to here.
He must have got burned.
Oh yeah. between Al and Hank, my old friend Hank there in the back, they used to ridicule me every morning when I used to come to the shop. Oh God, you hired a wagon burner, Al. What are you doing? And I lived with that for quite a while, a few years. And then, through the process of being in that company, I learned how to use a torch. I learned how to use weld. I learned through the many years of being there to do the skills that I have right now. And I thank Al Hamilton for giving me that opportunity to become basically the man I am today when it comes to the industry. Because before this, I was cleaning nightclubs at 3 o'clock in the morning. That was my gig. I didn't know any better, and then Al just kind of took me under his wing. I bought a Corvette. He used to call it the Piccadilly. He used to call me the Piccadilly Pimp. I bought a Corvette, and I said, Jesus, this $200 a month gig ain't gonna pay for this Corvette, so I needed a real job. So I applied at Hamilton Machining, and soon after that, I did this, and it moved. And throughout the ranks of being in Hamilton, I met my good friend Brad, who I've known for eons. Billy, Peter, wherever you are, Brian, I mean, there's just a mix of people throughout the years of working in Hamilton Machine. I've been just so glad and had the opportunity to have in my life because of knowing this man. And in short, you know, like you said, Al was one tough cookie, dude. You could not pass one over that guy. He was with his big, huge thumb, and he's going to drawings. He's like, I want this and this, I want it down here. I'm like, Al, you might also use your front toe because I keep pointing at the front. You have this huge mix, right? And at the old shop too. I don't know the old shop. The old shop where Hamilton Machine, where I started, was this 2-bay door garage, little thing, tiny as hell, behind VU 13. Does anybody remember the shop? Yeah. Okay, and then the John, the bathroom was this little door outside the bay doors. It wasn't even the full door, so when you sat on the toilet, your feet showed. It was just like, what the hell? It was ridiculous. But you know, and we had the fab side, and we had the machine side, and we had a night shift too. We were really, really busy back then. We had a night shift. We had like morning and the afternoon shift. And yeah, it was an adventure for sure, knowing this man. 150,000%. And then it just so happens that he owns a place in Birch Bay, where my parents own a Birch Bay. And I used to see him there, and my buddy Brad, and Walt, my old friend Walt, yes, yeah, oh my God. It's the years that has passed through of knowing Al Hamilton, the people I've met, has just been 100% privilege. And I'm astounded that at 91 years old, holy cow, it's 91, wasn't it, Joanne? 91 years old. Holy cow. If I could live to 91, that just tells you, that's a tough dude, man. They don't build them like that anymore. 91 years old. That's crazy. But that being said, at the end of the day, you know, we're here to celebrate Al's legacy. And at the end of the day, I'd like to see anybody else top that legacy, because they broke the mold when they made that guy. So here's to Al, everybody.
Bear with me, people. I'm going to try to get through this. For those who don't know, I'm Ed. Al was the first father figure in my life. When he married my Auntie Carol, he took a huge role becoming a father to 3 teenagers. You know, myself, John, Joanne. I appreciate the life lessons he taught me. He gave me a long leash. Trust me, it was long. But yanked it back whenever I got a little out of hand. About a year or so after Al married my aunt, she told me, she goes, Al wants to talk to me. You know, I'm wondering, I screwed up again or did something, you know. We sat down in the living room, just the 2 of us. And Al started the conversation by saying it was my decision. I'm like, I don't know, you know. He says, I want to adopt you as my legal son. He said, you don't have to answer me right away. He said, it's a big decision. When you decide, please let me know. Well, I walked around the block, came back to the house, told Al I wanted him to adopt me, and that I'd be damn proud to be his son. Al wasn't a hugger, as everybody knows, but we hugged each other, probably, and Al, after the hug, I know it was the best decision I ever made. When we lived on King Edward, Al would toss me the car keys, you know, to the F-150 manual steering, manual brakes. And he says you could take it to hockey practice because he didn't want to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. So I'm like, oh, okay. He says, but park it in the exact same spot where you left, because that way Auntie Carol would not know I took the car. So I was around 15 or so, you know. But not too long ago, John told me he must have been the favorite. He got keys to the Super Bee. I get the 150, you know, that can barely move. So, and Al gave me my first job cleaning up in his shop, treated me like an employee, not like a son. That was something that I really appreciated. He installed to me a strong work ethic. He always told me, if you're not at work 13 minutes early, you're 30 minutes late. And that stuck with me working, and I'm proud to say I passed it on to my sons. When Al first came into our family, you know, we played checkers and crib with him regularly. He thought he was the best checker player always. And no. Anyone that knew Al knew that if he won, he would rub it in and he'd never let you forget. He was relentless that way. In his younger years, Al loved to have the odd drink of rye and water, usually 50-50. When Al made his curry chicken, which everybody here probably had a sample of his food, and we would always look to see how many drinks he had. Because if the bottle was this much lower, we always make an excuse to leave because the curry would be way too hot. The more he drank, the hotter it got. And after Aunt Carol passed away, I saw Al every weekend. We played crib, watched some curling and football. Curling, you know, but football, oh, okay. And talked about everything. My weekends will never be the same anymore. I miss Al, and I'm sure you all do too. Thanks.
Well, thank you, everybody. And anyways, there's going to be some refreshments afterwards, and everybody can socialize and tell stories about Al. Okay? Thanks.
Marv did forget one thing about the washroom at the old Hamilton Machining. When they had a big job on the lathe that was just outside of it, they actually drilled a hole in the bathroom, and the pipe would go right through in the middle of the bathroom. So you had to sit down, and the thing was turning in front of you while you were just to make room for the large jobs they were doing. Yeah.